Okay. So this is the new part. Actually, this is the last part of our discussion. So there we can do this is the input market again in our syllabus. In our syllabus, there is only perfect competition either in the output market or in the input market. Okay. So the all those imperfect competition and the rest will be discussed in our next sem. Okay, so this is the part. Actually, the in your book, it may be the Pindack Rubenfeld or any other standard textbook, you can find input market as a single chapter. Okay, so the first part of this chapter is perfect competition, and the second part is imperfect competition. That means monopoly, monopsony. These are there. Okay, so that monopoly, monopsony section is not in our syllabus right now. It will be in our next sem. This same we have only perfect competition chapter portion of the input market chapter. Okay, so is it clear? So it is not a single uh, chapter of your textbook. It is a part of that chapter which is in our current course. Okay, it is a part, the first part of the input market chapter. As we don't know what is imperfect competition, so that is why we are not discussing imperfect competition in the input market as well. Okay, so here, first of all, before going to the discussion of the input market, remember one thing: it is the market of the raw material. Okay, it is not the market of our final product which we have discussed till now, right? We have discussed about the consumer behavior, production, cost, perfect competition. Everywhere we are considering the commodity which is coming to sell, which is coming to sold in the market. This commodity is the final product. The consumer can consume it directly, right? So, but there is a background before that final product. That means some raw materials are needed to produce that final product. So before this unit, we didn't discuss about the condition of those raw material, about the market of those raw materials. So what is happening in this raw material market? We just said that much. We just said that say there is an increase in price of input. So then what will happen? The supply curve will shift to the left. So this type of thing, if the price of input is increasing, then my total cost is increasing. If there is a better technology, then my PPF will shift upward. So this type of discussion we did, but the details analysis of those market we never did. So here we are going to discuss the details analysis of the input market. That means the raw material market. What is happening in the raw material market? Okay, and you can understand as that input market is related with the final product. Final product will never come if there is no input, right? So in this way, these two markets are related actually. Input market is related with the final product market. So that is why this chapter is coming at the end of our final product market analysis. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the input market. So the background. Now we are going in depth actually. When we are completing our syllabus, we are going in depth. First of all, the consumer behavior, that is what the consumer is thinking, how they are acting, how they are choosing their decision and all this. Then after we are thinking, okay, they are choosing the commodity, then how the commodity is produced. So there comes the production chapter. After discussing the production, we are thinking, okay, that the commodity is produced, then what is the background of this production? What is the cost? How the production level is determined? So there comes the cost. Okay, and here comes the input market. That means something related with that cost. How this input market is influencing the production, how this input market is influencing the consumer's choice and everything. Okay, so it is definitely it is under the perfect competition. So here we are going to introduce some new concepts. As this is a bit new to us, so new concepts are also there. First of all, this is the very first concept we need in this chapter, that is the derived demand. What is derived? Why it is derived demand? First of all, derived demand is for the input. Just read that bullet. Demand for an input which is dependent on the demand for another product, generally the final product, is called the derived demand. Okay. So when we are discussing about the demand for input, it is called the derived demand because that demand is derived from the demand of final commodity, right? If there is no demand of final commodity, then there will be no demand of input, right? So in this way, the demand of input is actually dependent on the demand for final product. So that is why the demand for input is called derived demand. So this is a new concept, derived demand. So derived demand is basically used in case of the input market. The concept of derived demand is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now look what happened. When we will discuss the input demand, we will not say derived, this is the derived demand for input, this is the derived demand curve of input. No, we will say this is the demand curve of input. But you should know the actual name of that demand. The proper name of that demand is the derived demand because the demand is derived from the demand of the final product. Okay, so this is your derived demand. This is the second new concept. Try to understand it carefully. Look at the name, marginal revenue product. What is the meaning of that? Marginal revenue product, MRP. Marginal revenue, MR, and marginal product is MP. So we are taking M as common, so it becomes MRP, marginal revenue product. Very simple. This is the product of marginal revenue and marginal product. Is it clear? MR into MP, that is called marginal revenue product. How to define it? Look, if you are going to employ one additional, okay, let me just read that first bullet first. Additional revenue by selling the product of one additional labor employed. It is the product of MR and MPL. Okay, now let me explain it. Say you have employed one additional worker. Okay, you are the producer, you have employed one additional labor. After entering, the labor will produce something, and by definition this is the marginal product of that labor. Say the labor is producing additional 8 units of any commodity. Okay, so now we are going to sell that product in the market, that 8 unit, that additional 8 unit. And by selling that 8 units, say my income is 50 rupees. From that 8 unit, my income is 50 rupees. So that 50 rupees is my additional revenue. You know, revenue is the income, right? So the total revenue for me, the additional revenue for me is 50 rupees. So that 50 rupees is the marginal revenue product of that particular worker. Is it clear?
Ma'am, can you repeat from like what is the cost in adding one labor? Like from that point.
I'm not considering the cost part here. I will, but here I am not. I am just telling that say I have employed one additional labor. Done. So that additional labor is coming in my production unit and producing some commodity. Say the amount of commodity is 8. So he is producing 8 additional units. Right? So that is called MPL of that worker. Up to this point, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now look, I have this additional 8 units now. What to do? I will going to sell it. So I am going to sell it in the market. So when I sold that commodity in the market, my revenue is 50 rupees or okay, fine, 80 rupees. The per unit price is 10 rupees. I am selling 8 units. So my additional revenue is 80 rupees. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that 80 rupees is the marginal revenue product of that particular labor. Now is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Now,
So this is how you can understand the marginal revenue product. Now here it is the additional revenue. Again, this is for simplicity. You can say the change. That is also allowed. The change in revenue by selling the product by 1 unit change in labor employed. That also you can say. Here for simplicity I am writing it the additional, but you can write it change. The change in revenue by selling the product of when the labor is employed, when the labor is changed by 1 unit. So if you are reducing the labor, it is the reduction in revenue. If you are increasing the labor, then it will be the increase in revenue. That is how you can also explain marginal revenue product. But this is very important concept for this chapter particularly because we will use it repeatedly. Okay. So before going to the next unit, I should ask everyone to make yourself clear about the concept of marginal revenue product. Other than Ishan, if there is anyone who has some doubt with that marginal revenue product, ask me now. আর কি কারো কিছু প্রশ্ন আছে? কিছু বুঝতে পারছো না মার্জিনাল রেভিনিউ প্রোডাক্ট নিয়ে? এরকম কি কেউ আছো? আচ্ছা, মনে হচ্ছে না কেউ আদৌ আছে। Okay, fine. So by definition, look at the second bullet. The second bullet is MRPL, the definition, mathematical form of the MRPL, marginal revenue product of labor. That is why it is L, huh? Marginal revenue product of labor. Then how to write it? MR into MPL, as I said. It is MR into MPL. This is how you are getting this. Say you have employed 1 unit of labor, then you are getting MPL, amount of output. So if you sell 1 unit in the market, then the total revenue is by definition MR. So when you are going to sell MPL, then your total revenue will be MR into MPL, and this is the definition of MRPL. Okay, so this is how you are getting it, the multiplication form. What I say, that if I am employing one additional labor, then he will give me MPL amount of output additionally. Okay. Now what is MR? MR is if I will sell 1 unit in the market, then the change of my revenue is MR. And here I am going to sell MPL. Then what will be the change of my total revenue? MR into MPL. Okay. So this is how you can get it. This is a simple unitary process. I'm trying to write it. I don't know how much I can write, but let me try. If I am employing 1 unit of labor, then it will give me MPL. Okay. If I am employing 1 unit of labor, then it will give me MPL, amount of additional output, right? Now, if I will sell 1 unit of output, then my total revenue change will be MR. This is the definition of MR, right? This is the definition of MR. Fine. And how much additional output I have now? MPL. So when I'm going to sell that MPL, when I'm going to sell that MPL, what is the revenue I will earn additionally? MR into MPL. কি হলো রে বাবা? Yes. Okay. So this is how you are getting your MRPL. And this is just the definition of MRPL. Okay. So this is a simple unitary method you can use to find the value of MRPL. Now look what will happen. As we are not concerned about the general MRPL, we are very much specific. We are only concerned about perfect competition. And you all of you know that in perfect competition, MR is equal to AR is equal to P. So we can just replace our MR. Eh, Baba, just a minute. MR is equal to AR is equal to P. Then my MPL will be MRPL will be MPL into P. That should be M. Just a minute. Look, this is my MRPL under perfect competition. MPL into P. I'm just replacing MR by P. Is it clear to you? Last. Okay. MR is equal to P. Then my MRPL will be MPL into P. Because in perfect competition, all of we know that MR is equal to AR is equal to P. To your price taker. Okay. So this is the MRPL.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Yes.
Ma'am, what will be the unit of MRPL? Is it
Uh,
rupees, like currency?
yes. Because it is the additional revenue.
And it is getting multiplied by P price.
Okay.
Okay.
MPL is what? MPL is a quantity, na? MPL is a quantity, say 3, 4, 5, 6 units. And P is the price. So finally, it will be in terms of money. Yes, in terms of rupees.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, this is the next one, the diagram. All of you know we are very much interested about the diagram. So here what we are measuring on the vertical axis, we are measuring the wage, as this is something related with the labor. So the price of labor is wage. We know the price of labor is wage. So that wage is on the vertical axis, and on the horizontal axis it is the labor, amount of labor employed. Now look, the MRPL is MR into MPL. Now, in the second stage of production, my MPL is downward sloping. MR curve is always downward sloping. There is no second or third stage, right? So, MR is downward sloping, MPL is downward sloping. So, if I multiply these two curves, it will be downward sloping. And that is why my MRPL curve is downward sloping. Is that okay? The red line is showing the general shape of the MRPL curve. And the blue line is showing MPL into P. Okay, that means it is the case of perfect competition. That green line is showing that perfectly competitive situation. Now you can ask me why it is above the red line. Why perfect competitive MRPL is above the line of imperfect competition. Now look, what is P? P is, আবার এখানে একটা ভুল লিখেছি, দাঁড়াও তো ভুলভাল লিখছি না। Now look. Yes. What is in general the red line is MR into MPL, that is our MRPL, and the green line is MPL into P. Now you know that P is what? Tell me what is P? Price? How to define the price? হ্যাঁ বলো, কে কি এটা বলছিলে?
Ma'am, P is price.
Yes, P is price, but P is equal to average revenue, na? Can
Yes,
you
ma'am.
remember that? Yes. So in general, P is equal to average revenue. Average revenue curve is nothing but our demand curve. So in that case, P is representing the average revenue. And if you draw your AR and MR curve, let me try again. If you forget that, let me try to draw. This is my axis, and in general, this is my AR curve, and this is my MR curve. Na? So AR curve is always above the MR curve. This is my AR curve, and this is my MR curve. Right. So in general, AR curve is always lying above the MR curve. And here, as in case of perfect competition, AR is equal to P, and we are multiplying P with my MPL, then it will be always above the imperfectly competitive MRPL curve. This diagram is clear to you or not?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. So you can understand in case of look, both are curves into. Huh? Finally, both are curves. They are not straight line. Any of them is not a straight line because your MPL is a curve. P may be a constant term for perfect competition, but your MPL is not a straight line. It is a curve. So that is why you have to draw the curve. Okay, and in case of MR, definitely MR is downward sloping straight line, but still there is MPL, which is a curve. So you have to draw two curves, not a specific straight line. So this is the diagram for MRPL. Now here comes the picture from your Pindak and Rubenfeld, the labor market equilibrium. Look what I have done. Here I'm just coming back in this diagram. This is the labor employed. Okay, on the horizontal axis, I am measuring the amount of labor, and on the vertical axis, I am measuring the wage. Right? Now, what is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is something for the producer. Right? Marginal revenue is for the producer who are going to sell. It is for the seller. Right? So, this is supply side. MR is from the supply side. MPL, okay, fine. MPL is given in the market, but MR is something related with the supplier. Now, remember, in input market, supplier of the final product, they are the consumer, right? Who are producing the final product, they are consumer in the input market, right? So, in that case, so we can consider MR is from the demand side. MR is coming from the demand side with respect to the input market. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Dekho. Acha. So if it is like
Ma'am, can you
this,
repeat?
yes, I'm telling that in the input market, sellers are the consumer. That may be a bit confusing for you for the first time, but you have to be clear. Here, consumer means the seller because it is the input market. Okay, the seller of the final product, who were actually making the supply curve in case of the product demand supply, they are the consumer here. So they are creating demand in the input market. Who are creating supply in the final product market, they are creating demand in the input market. এটা কি বোঝা গেল? বোঝা যায়নি। আচ্ছা। There is a producer, say there is a producer. Huh? The producer, say the producer is producing ceiling fan. Fine. So when we are considering the ceiling fan market, the producer is the representative of the supply side. When we are considering the ceiling fan market, that is the final product market, there the producer is the representative of the supply side. এটা কি বোঝা গেল?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when that producer is going to purchase the input, from the labor market. So the same producer is the representative of the demand side in the input market. বোঝা গেল না? Not clear? I'm telling that, say there is a producer, the producer বলো না একটা কিছু Crompton বলো, okay fine. Crompton is producing ceiling fan. Okay, so when we are considering the ceiling fan market, Crompton company is the representative of the supply side. That company is creating the supply curve, right? The company is making that supply curve in the ceiling fan market. Up to this point, I hope clear, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now consider you have, now look at the Crompton company. Crompton, when Crompton is making the ceiling fan, he needs some inputs. One of those inputs is the labor. He has to employ some labor. That company has to employ some labor. Okay, so to employ the labor, the company has to go to the labor market. This is the input market. No? Is it clear? This is the input market. This is not the ceiling fan market. This is the labor market, which is the input market. এটা বোঝা যাচ্ছে? না কেন বলো তো? Okay, let me explain it again. When the Crompton company is going to produce the fan, when the Crompton company, the fan is not coming now. Fan, you have to make the ceiling fans. Okay, you have to make the ceiling fans in your factory. So when you are going to create, when you are going to assemble the instruments to make a ceiling fan, you need some raw materials. The raw material may be the color, the raw material may be the carbon, the raw material may be the কি যেন বলে ভেতরে ওটাকে, সিলিং ফ্যানের ভেতরে যেটা থাকে ওটাকে কি যেন বলে, কি এটা পুড়ে যায় মাঝে মাঝে,
Coil.
coil, yes, coil. So you need all this. Now for that you need the to create the coil, you need some sting, the maybe the copper sting. Okay, so these things are the raw material to produce a fan. So when the Crompton company is trying to create or trying to make a fan, he has to purchase all those inputs, right? Right? বুঝলে?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when he is going to purchase that raw material, so he has to go to the raw material market and he has to purchase it. The same company, when he is going to purchase the raw material, that company is the representative of the demand of the raw material. No?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So now that company is creating the demand curve in the raw material market. The same company who is the supply side representative of the final product is the demand side representative of the input market. He's demanding the input so that he can produce the commodity and sell it in the final market. So the same person is the supply side, is the representative of the supply side in the final product market, and that person is the representative of the demand side in the input market. He is demanding the input, na? Otherwise how can he make the material, how can he make the final product? So he has to demand the inputs. এই অবধি ঠিক আছে?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe a bit confusing initially, but it should be clear to you, otherwise you cannot understand. It is not like a commodity market, it is an input market. the background of the commodity market. Okay. So here what I am telling that supplier, okay, now come to this diagram. What I am telling that the supplier, the final product supplier, he is creating the demand in this labor market. This is labor market because on the horizontal axis I am measuring the labor. Okay. So this is an input market. So in this market, that producer of the final product, he is creating the demand. Okay. He is the representative of the demand side here. the consumer of the final product, they are not demanding labor. For example, you are the consumer of the ceiling fan, right? You are the consumer of the ceiling fan. If needed, you are going to the market and purchased a Crompton or Khoitan fan. Okay. But you never go to the labor market, you never go to the copper sting market and asking to give the coppers, because we are not concerned about all those. We only need the final product. So we consumer of the final product, we are not in this market. We are absent in this market. Okay. The consumer of the final product, they are not visible in the input market. But the producer of the final product, they are the consumer of the input market. Okay. So the seller of the final product, he has this component of marginal revenue. Okay. And this is the MPL from the labor. So multiplying this, we know this is the MRPL. Now look, if more and more labor is employed, then the wage rate is falling. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let me go to the other side. If wage is falling, then the expenditure for the labor employment is falling. Think from the point of view of the producer. When wage is falling, what should you do? He should employ more and more labor. তাই না? কি লাগে? খুব কনফিউশন হয়ে গেল না?
Ma'am,
Abhishek.
there's a input market we understood, like how it is connected with, like related with demand.
Just a
Demand.
minute. এক মিনিট একটু ওয়েট করো। Abhishek was trying to join, but when I sent the link, he declined. And now he was trying to join. Now, Ishan, tell me.
Ma'am, till like you said that input market is just like demand market for consumers. Till there we
No,
understand.
no. Just a minute.
No, like
Input,
final goods and like raw material input market.
yes,
Market for final goods is like for consumers, and market for inputs like labor, it is for producers, right?
yes.
From till there we understand.
ও তারপরে আর বুঝতে পারোনি? Okay, now look, that the producer, the producer of the final product, he has the component of marginal revenue, right? He has the component of marginal revenue. He's selling the final product, na? So the marginal revenue is coming from his pocket.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So MR into MPL, you know it is downward sloping. I just want to explain the how you can interpret this MRPL curve. What is the name of the MRPL curve, to be specific? How we can use MRPL curve in input market? We know what is MRPL. We can draw the MRPL curve, but how we can use that MRPL curve in this market, that is what I am trying to explain. Now look, what is happening if wage is falling, right? If wage is falling, then the producer of the final product, they are interested to employ more and more labor. এটা কি বুঝতে পারছো?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is quite logical, na? The price is falling, so the demand for labor should increase. Who is demanding the labor? The producer, right? So that is why that MRPL curve is showing what? That if wage is this, then labor employment is this. If wage is falling to this level, then labor employment is increasing to that level. Okay, so this MRPL curve is nothing but the demand curve of the labor, the demand curve in the input market. Okay, that MRPL curve is nothing but the demand curve in the input market. This is the demand by the producer. If the price of the input is falling, then employment of the input is increasing. So it is nothing but the demand curve which is coming from the producer, and it is the demand curve for input. Now tell me your problem.
No, ma'am, it's clear till now.
Okay, so this is the demand curve for this is the demand curve of the input if it is imperfect competition, and this green line is the demand curve for input if it is the perfect competition. Okay, so MRPL curve is nothing but the demand curve for input. Okay, MRPL curve is nothing but the demand curve for input. Now here comes the equilibrium. As I said, MRPL is nothing but the demand curve. Look at this diagram. MRPL is written as the DL, that is the demand for labor curve. And for simplicity, the book has assumed that supply is infinitely elastic. Okay, so there is infinite amount of supply labor available, just like India. Unskilled labor is available everywhere. Okay, so this is the supply curve of labor, and you have the demand curve. So it is very easy for you to find out the equilibrium. So this is the equilibrium labor employment, and this is the equilibrium wage. So this is how in the labor market the wage rate is determined. Okay, and at the same time labor employment. Fine. এই অবধি তো ঠিক আছে. Hopefully this diagram is clear to you, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Now look the next diagram. Okay, fine. Okay, before going to that, so you can understand this is just the equilibrium condition. You can see that equilibrium condition is what? MRPL is equal to MRPL. This is MR is equal to W into MPL. Okay, so this is the equilibrium condition. This is the equilibrium condition. MRPL is equal to supply, which is equal to W. Okay, so this is the labor market equilibrium condition. MRPL is equal to W. Now look, if supply of labor has increased, supply of labor is falling. If supply of labor is falling, S1 to S2, if supply of labor is falling, then what will happen with the equilibrium? Equilibrium will shift from here to here. The wage rate will fall and labor employment will increase. Okay, provided your MRPL curve is downward sloping. So this is just if the question is like that, say there is a fall in labor supply, then what will happen with the equilibrium wage? So your answer is equilibrium wage will fall, and for quantity the labor employment will increase. Okay, similarly you can increase the labor supply. In that case the wage rate will increase and the labor employment will fall. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Here
Ma'am,
comes
go back to the previous slide.
this one.
No, no, the one before this.
This one.
No, after this.
This one.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just once again.
No. That is.
Done. I missed it. Sorry, ma'am. Proceed.
Okay. here comes the demand curve of a factor when other inputs are variable. Remember, this is the demand curve of a factor when other inputs are. Aha, key spelling. Just a minute. Demand curve of a factor when other inputs are variable. Dekho, before this diagram, what we discussed, the demand for labor, supply of labor, everything we are doing with the assumption there is no change with all other factors. They are constant. But it may not be. It may not be. Specifically in the long run, all factors are variable. Na? So they are influenced by the market ups and downs. So if they will change, then what will happen with the labor? What will happen with the demand for labor? Look, no. This is the first MRPL curve. Okay, MRPL 1. Initially, that was the MRPL curve. And given that MRPL curve, the wage rate was 20 and labor employment is somewhere here. Fine. Now, say, okay, when this is the thing, there is a change in capital. We know there are broadly two factors of production, labor and capital. There is a change in capital. We are employing this amount of labor. We are employing this amount of labor, and that is why suddenly there is a productivity change of the capital. And we are employing more of the capital. Okay, say we are employing more of the capital. Then, so there what will happen? Marginal product of capital will fall, right? Marginal product of capital will fall, and then if marginal product of capital is falling, then producers are interested to reduce capital employment and increase labor employment. And when he is doing so, then marginal product of labor is increasing. Okay, and then MRPL curve has shifted upward. Okay, and then at the wage rate 15, the labor employment is this. So as your MRPL has shifted, you are employing more labor than before. If your MRPL will not shift, given that wage 15, you can employ up to B. But since your MRPL has increased, shifted to the right, now you can employ up to C. Okay, so what is the ultimate demand curve for labor? If you join A and C, you will get that demand curve for labor. বুঝতে পারলে? Okay, let me do one thing. I should stop here because I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time. So I stop here. In the next class, we will start from this diagram. Okay. From the next class, we will start from this diagram so that you can understand it better. For this, what I discussed today, the reference is Pindyck and Rubenfeld.